In this demo, we'll look at how Atlassian supports incident management and problem management using Jira Service Desk and Confluence. Let's get started. So what we see in front of us here is Jira Service Desk and a Service Desk project that's been configured to fit the needs of an IT team. Now, quite often we'll see where IT teams work out of one project. That's where you have your service requests, incidents, changes, and problems all in one. And that fits for some teams. Other teams need the flexibility. So for an example, maybe a large organization where they separate their SRE or IT operations engineers into a separate support capability, maybe tier 2 and tier 3, they can actually move them into their own dedicated service desk project. Customers love this capability. That means that I can create a project like we see here around the SRE engineers that are very focused around the type of incidents they're responding to. It has the appropriate SLAs, the queues that are appropriate for them, their own automation rules, and so they're much more effective and efficient in the way that they respond to major outages and issues. Let's take a look at an example. Let's say a critical business application such as the ETS web store is having major issues. In fact, we already see some of those issues being reported by customers. Service Desk provides several channels that those reports can be communicated to support. And that is, it can be through the customer portal, email, or it can be via some sort of monitoring event. Jira Service Desk leverages the open API, making it very easy for customers to integrate their own custom monitoring solutions or use many of the out-of-the-box solutions that are available in the Atlassian marketplace. Beyond the event monitoring the direct API creating the incidents, we also have the ability to manually create them. If someone calls me or I'm learning about something as a support staff, I can choose the create button, fill out all the appropriate fields to classify the incident from the impact, the urgency, and the priority, classifying it, indicating the source, as well as what services are impacted, and the incident has been logged into this service desk. Another option I want to cover really quick as a review is what we talk about in the service request part of it, is from the portal. This allows customers to easily come in and create a new incident, especially in their internal staff. And I want to report a production application issue that I'm encountering. This allows an end user to quickly classify the incident, provide the appropriate information, and they oftentimes have a great perspective of feedback they're getting about this incident that the IT team might be missing. So having this aspect of capturing incidents is very important and has been highly successful for customers that have implemented it. Now let's look at working the incident. This major incident that was just created is automatically routed to this project because of the way it's associated to it from the request type. Same with the email as well as the inbound event. So it makes a much more efficient way of responding to these. It's also routed to my queue because I am handling the critical incidents. And you can do this by product. There's all kinds of different ways that this can be sorted out. But what we'll see is that the ETS web store purchasing is down. Let's work the incident. Now you'll see that I'm assigned to the incident. I actually moved it forward into work in progress. So we can see that from the workflow. So let's troubleshoot this incident. One of the first places that agents will go to after they've reviewed it is to look at the related knowledge articles. Now they have full access to the knowledge bases via the site out here where they can search, they can go directly there, they can create new ones. But I notice right away, my eye comes down to here, I have 2 run books that have been recommended as well as a known error. So let's take a look at the known error. What this is doing is just opening up the knowledge base article within the context of the incident so I can review it and decide, is this something that's going to resolve this issue? I can share it as a comment and ask maybe Max about this, and ask Max by simply leveraging the power of Jira App Mentions. So now I'm bringing Max into this incident. Max will get a notification about that, and he can come back and we can have a conversation in this incident right here in real time and make it much more collaborative in solving it. I also have access to runbooks. I see this often used with customers that have a critical incident troubleshooting process that are in external documents. They bring them into Confluence and make them much more collaborative. So for example here, they can have a page where they have all of their runbooks documented. They can get easy access to these, as well as a way to easily review and keep these up to date and more valuable to an IT team. So I can look at one of the run books here. Does this actually solve my issue? I can go through, review, and what we have found that customers that have this level of access of touching documents like this, they're able to reduce their initial response time about 40%. All right, the next thing is related issues. Now, on the right-hand side here, I see just a quick recommendation of other things that are out there. And I know that there's been a lot of incidents lately that I'm seeing that are related to this. So we'll go ahead and relate some of the incidents here so I can work these from one incident. Now, how I do that is I simply go to link, I'm up here. From here, I can go ahead and indicate this is caused by, or I have all kinds of options here. We'll go ahead and say duplicated by. So I'm going to go with web store. And I'm starting to see a lot of these current open incidents here. So I can start going through the list. Now I do have the ability to search for even more at one time. And now I see the current incidents that are out there, including potentially, I know some Splunk events have been logged against this. I'm going to bring those in. And these are the two events that were logged around the same time period. So this gives me really good search and investigation capability. It also gives me visibility into software projects that are going on in Jira Software. Has the software team released something recently? Have there been other changes? So there's an ability to search and find that as well across the entire platform. So now that we've looked at the power to link issues across the Jira platform within a Jira Service Desk project to other projects, now comes the challenge of how do we keep these updated? This would be a manual process in a lot of other applications and ITSM solutions. With Jira Service Desk, we offer automation. Customers, developers, Service Desk admins, ITSM teams love this because what it does is puts the power in their hands to take commonly recurring actions that they would manually perform and automate them. And the other great thing of this is they have a lot of pre-built automation rules, or they can build their own, but this requires no programmer, no developer to actually go and implement. Let's take a look at this. We have an automation rule, but when there's a linked issue is transitioned and it matches where the resolution is not empty, meaning it hasn't been resolved, they can now add a comment letting the owner of that ticket know about the change so then they can check on it. There's all kinds of other possibilities where they can actually transition the issue, they can email someone, they can even initiate something externally using a webhook. Automation is a very powerful capability for streamlining the IT service support process, and this is especially important for incident management. And finally, let's collaborate to solve this issue or this incident. So one of the things besides the app mentions that I mentioned earlier is the ability to leverage Hipchat. Hipchat is fully integrated with Jira Service Desk, making it easy for IT teams to use it. You'll see here that I've launched a dedicated room. I'm actually using an existing one to collaborate with the team members around this issue, as well as I can see that it's already been mentioned in 2 different rooms. We fully audit the information coming back and asking, or here it's just asking people who've seen it and they're working on it. So that allows a team in the Hipchat, and this is the web client that I'm using here, to quickly collaborate and work around the issue and solve it, bring other team members in. It's a way of putting the tool right in the middle of the conversation instead of using a phone bridge, other email, and other tools. It makes them much more effective. In fact, here's another example of the use of Hipchat in solving a major outage. Here's an example of Hipchat in action with an IT team. So we see that an IT person by the name of Tom has noticed an issue from an alert from New Relic. He's actually opened up the alert, and the Hipchat offers this sidebar that gives him better context, understanding what's going on with the issue. He can also interact with other integrations that the IT team has from Hipchat. So again, it makes it very powerful in the way that the teams has information at their fingertips. They don't have to go to other systems. They're more effective in the way that they're going through and troubleshooting the issue. Now let's take a look at what it takes to close out this incident. One of 2 things here. Obviously, hopefully I found the ability to get this service back up and running, and that's going to be one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to open a change request. The other thing is I could potentially flag this for a more long-term problem investigation. But let's go down the path of associating and raising a change request. First, I'm going to go ahead and create a linked issue. So I have the ability, obviously, to put it over in a problem, but here I want it as a change, and I'm going to go ahead and mention that this needs a hotfix, because that's what the software engineers determine. And I would go ahead and provide the details. I can also choose to bring in the copy of the links in. Now this is really powerful because it gives the infrastructure team greater visibility and so they have better context. Create it. And now we see the related change request. The RFC has been related to this major incident. We see that it's waiting on peer review here for approval and review. And if we were to go over to that change request, We would see from the change request we have full visibility into the incident and all the context. Customers love this ability with Jira Service Desk and the Jira platform overall. It removes a lot of the barriers that they face, especially when they're starting to work closer with software teams. This concludes the incident management demo.